Welcome to another episode of Freedom Fridays with Dana Lee. I'm your host, Dana Lee. I'm the diet recovery coach, and I help women heal from decades of dieting damage. That's yo-yo dieting, on again, off again with the diets, on again, off again with the weight. Maybe it's the same 14 pounds that you're losing and gaining and losing and gaining, and sometimes even gaining an extra few pounds on top of that. So I help women break that cycle for good and in the most healthy way possible, because what we focus on, instead of making our bodies wrong or our food habits wrong, we are looking at our thoughts and our belief system, and that is a little different approach. And it is why my clients have so much success in permanently changing their relationship to food. So this brings me to today's topic. How can I keep peanut butter cups in my cabinet? For me, it's my freezer. I like them frozen. How do I keep them in my freezer, in my cabinet, 24/7, 365 without having a binge? How could that be when I'm here telling you that for a good 15, 20 years of my life, I had a binge eating disorder? I was out of control with food, and trying to manipulate it and trying to control it led me to feeling and being completely out of control. Last week I talked about portion control and eating in moderation. If you didn't watch that video or read my post, I put it out on Facebook. If you didn't get my hot take on portion control and eating in moderation, how misunderstood that is, please go back and watch that video. However, today I'm here to talk about how I'm able to keep these foods, and this is why I'm coming to you from my kitchen today, and in my cabinet all the time. So I was someone who could not control themselves with peanut butter cups. I could not control myself with chocolate chip cookies. I could not control myself with a box of Wheat Thins. I would house the whole freaking thing. And here I am with 2 boxes that are party size, and it takes my husband and I weeks to go through these boxes. But they're here all the time, and I will often, actually kind of gives me a hard time, like, he goes to open up the box and there's like 3 crackers in the bottom of it. I'm like, yeah, when I'm done eating, I'm done eating. And if you were to ask me years ago if I would ever get to this point in this level of having such control over food, that I'm the one in the driver's seat, that I'm the one who feels empowered over my food and my diet and how I'm eating and my body, I never would have believed you. But that's because I was surrounded at the time with the diet mentality. Everyone around me, as being a fitness instructor, especially, never mind a participant in a class, like if you came to one of my workouts, or you go to the gym and you would participate in someone's step class or kickboxing class or spin or whatever it was, that we were in the entire topic of diet is normal, and it is normal to constantly want to lose weight. And when I started to see that that actually was a really harmful way for me to live mentally, and I started looking at my thoughts around that and my belief system around that and questioned it, that's where I was able to repattern, take control back, and really see what was going on there. And it came down to, how can I heal my relationship with me? So I wanted to invite you to the Roadmap to Food Freedom. It's not only an in-person event. Here's my big announcement. It's actually also a virtual event. I decided, because part of me felt kind of bad. I have all these viewers from all around the world, and I understand traveling to New Jersey for a day may not be in the cards for you, may be difficult. However, the power of carving out an entire block of time for you to focus on healing your relationship to food and to yourself is worth its time. It's worth the investment. It's worth it for you to really look at this in a whole new light that you've never looked at before. And I wanted to make sure everyone had access to it. So if you Zoom, then you can Zoom in from my studio. I'm going to be holding it in my fitness studio. I'm going to be setting up tables where women can come in person. I have 8 spots available for in person, depending on the event that you choose, right? So it's April 10th, and I have another one on May 15th. They're both Sundays. Or you can tune in from home and you're still going to be able to participate. I have the setup. I've been doing online video for long time before the pandemic. So I can totally set that up where you're going to feel as a Zoom participant to feel part of the room. So, so choose whichever option is best for you. Please do this for yourself. How many years have you struggled with the diet and the food? Let's do something completely different. And what I'm going to be covering is not only how can you leave food in your cabinet and trust yourself around food if you've never really had that experience before, and it's been really long, it's been a long time since you have, then this is a way for you to explore the possibility of that freedom for yourself. So you're going to come into the workshop feeling maybe obsessed about food, right? So here I actually jotted down some things we're going to be covering specifically. So if you feel anxiety and you eat to make the anxiety go away, and then because you eat, it feeds more anxious feelings, we're going to talk about that. Okay? We're going to talk about being a lifelong dieter and not knowing how to see yourself differently, although you desperately want to. I want to create another life for myself. I'm scared. The only way I know how to be is on a diet or off a diet. That maybe is how you describe where you are in your life. Not necessarily who was getting married or who was having a baby at that time, but you know, what weight was I at, right? And was I on a diet or off a diet? Isn't that interesting, right? When you go back and think about your history. We're going to definitely be talking about stress eating. So stress eating can be a little bit different than anxiety. Anxiety is this could be low or could be high level of just this vibe in the body that is like, I don't feel good in my skin. I'm not feeling comfortable doing this. I'm not feeling comfortable doing that. It makes you want to just get out of your skin. Where stress could, sometimes it could be overwhelm. It could be paralyzing. It could be thoughts running through the mind. It could feel like worrying all the time. So there's a little bit nuance between stress and anxiety. It's even between worry. And we're going to talk about all the ways that we go to food, use food to cope and maybe escape some of those feelings. And then also like what to do with that, right? Like instead of feeling bad about it and shaming ourselves and feeling guilty and I'm so wrong and I'm so bad, that's not what this workshop is. This workshop is a space that I'm holding so you can feel really comfortable with exploring those things, because I'm standing here saying to you, I felt those things too. And we have to be able to talk about them and uncover them in order to heal from them and to move through it and past it. Okay. So we're going to talk about stress, anxiety, worry, anxiousness, guilt, shame. We're going to talk about all that stuff that shows up in our life and the way we could keep it in place, because then we have our behaviors with food and then we feel more of that, right? So it's a vicious cycle. How do we break the cycle? We're going to talk about that in the roadmap to food freedom. We're going to talk about nighttime snacking. We're going to talk about mindless eating out of boredom. We're going to talk about obviously portion control, eating in moderation. We'll certainly dive into that. We're going to talk about feeling overweight since the pandemic. I've been talking to a lot of women who feel like because with like the pandemic was just a catalyst for like eating, feeling out of control with the eating, putting extra weight on the body that you just don't feel good about, but now maybe feeling stuck. I don't know what to do next. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like moving my body. What's wrong with me? We're going to talk about all of those things. Also, let's see. Oh, not being able to accept yourself. That's a huge one. You know, like I work with women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, mostly. Those are most of my clients. And that they, even at that age, are finding it very difficult. They would expect, I'm in this decade of my life, how come I can't accept myself? I don't really love who I am. I don't really, I like parts of myself, but not all parts. I thought I would be farther along. So we're definitely going to uncover some of that. And the more we talk about it and bring it to the surface, the more you're going to be able to see yourself in another light that will allow you to accept where you are in your life so you can therefore move forward. It is the key to unlock progress, is accepting where you are and how you got got to where you are. So that has to do with personal responsibility. And, the things that we talk about in the roadmap to food freedom in our day together. So it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We're going to break for lunch. I'll probably give you some other breaks too, because come on, I'm in fitness. I like to move around. So we'll stand up, we'll stretch, we'll do things to keep our bodies moving, give ourselves little breaks in between for sure, because then that's going to keep us focused, re-energize us for the next lesson. So I'm taking you through 5 lessons in our time together, and I'll take you through layer by layer, little bit by little bit. You're never going to reveal something about yourself or your history you're not ready to reveal. So I want to just ease your mind there. Sometimes I talk to women about, participating in an event like this. They really want to heal their food issues, but they're afraid because, well, I kind of know there's some demons in there and I don't really want to uncover that. And if I talk about it, it makes it worse. That's actually not the case. You're going to be, it's going to be revealed to you in tiny little pieces as you are ready and comfortable. So you could end up having 2 or 3 aha moments during our time together that could absolutely change the trajectory of your healing and recovery from food and with yourself. It doesn't have to be a major thing. It could actually be really tiny connections that you make that were just never made before. And that could totally open up your eyes to another line of thinking, another path forward for yourself that you just were blocked to before. I have heard it time and time again. So if you go to the page to register for the roadmap, it's realfit.tv/food freedom. Oh my gosh, I should know it. I think it's Food Freedom Event. I will double check, but I'm giving you the link around this video. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, it will be in the description. If you're watching this video on Facebook, I'm going to put it in the description of the video to make sure you know where to register. But on that page, you'll see people have walked away from that event with another way to see themselves. You come in feeling completely obsessed and compulsive around food, nighttime snacking, boredom, everything's about my weight, of this on again with the 20 pounds, off again with the 20 pounds, on again with 22 pounds, where you're constantly up and down with that cycle. And yet you'll walk away from that event with a different perspective that was broken open that you just didn't see before. It's so freeing, and you're going to feel lighter. I promise you will feel lighter at the end of our day together in a way you've never felt before. Because I have a proprietary formula in a way that I take my clients through that I don't know any other nutritionist, coach, healer, dietitian, whatever you want to call them. I don't know of anyone else who has the method that I have. And I've been taking women through it since 2017. And I just have testimonial after testimonial about it. No matter what phase or age they're at, everyone gets their breakthroughs and their healing on their terms. So the other thing we're going to talk about a bit is the obsession of the numbers on the scale. So if you're someone who's addicted to weighing themselves, everything's about your weight, the size of your clothes, maybe your Fitbit or your Apple Watch, and it's constant tracking and writing all those things down. And it's suffocating you, and it can cause you to actually create more harmful behaviors, because you may step on the scale and see that you're up a few pounds and you feel terrible. So fuck it. I'm just going to eat whatever the hell I want. Or you're so trying to constrain and manipulate and fit in and control with using your devices, because if it fits in your macros, or did I have the number of points today, or the number of calories, or whatever it is, your eating window, that can cause a lot of anxiety. It can cause a lot of turmoil. So that it's not really helpful in the long run. It can be helpful for a phase of educating yourself, but then what do you do beyond that? Well, this roadmap to food freedom is going to show you how to trust yourself and how to let go a little bit, so you're not white knuckling and holding on to some of those things that and day in and day out are not good for your mental health. But how do you break up with them? How do you let go? It can be a very difficult process to do by yourself. So don't do it by yourself. Come with me and we'll talk about how do we phase out. Maybe it's not an all or nothing cold turkey thing. Maybe it's just looking at it slightly differently so you can just let go of one little piece and one little piece. That's how I have my clients do it. That's why I have my program, which is 12 months, because it can take an entire year to go through the seasons of our life, literally winter, spring, summer, fall, but also the seasons of like, how do we show up in different areas of our life, in different phases, and being able to practice those things in real life. That is why I have so many testimonials from my clients, because it's a body of work that gives you the space for you to actually implement in your real life. So it comes to life and you become, I would say, a different person. You're not becoming a different person. You're becoming the person that you've always wanted to be. It's in there. It's in there right now. So we can start together with the roadmap to food freedom. All right. So the space is limited for my in-person online. I haven't limited it yet, but I do want to make sure every woman who's involved has the ability to participate in conversation. So in Zoom, we might do some breakout rooms, or you have little groups of women that we can talk about the things that we're learning together in that day. And in our actual workshop in person, that's why another reason I have 8 women. Maybe I'll break it up in like 4 and 4, so there's smaller conversations, so you can really share from the heart and insights that you've had and experiences you had growing up that you can really relate to one another on, and it can be very freeing and very healing. So the other thing I just wanted to share real quick before I pop off for today is that part of the event is you're going to have a coloring book companion. So much of the way we approach food and diet and weight loss is very serious. It's like we're focusing and we're following rules, and what I'd love for you to do is to experience a little dose of what it is like to work with me, and that what if this really serious, heavy topic that has been literally weighing you down for so many years could be a little bit more lighthearted and a little bit more inquisitive and curious like a child. And that is why I developed a coloring book companion for this. So the last time I did the Roadmap to Food Freedom online in my Facebook group, it was 5 videos over the course of 5 days. And then I took the videos down. This is going to be delivered differently because it's one day. I'm also going to add on in our coloring book companion. That was the first time I did that. But it was a hit. Everyone loved it. And you're able then to be able to color. You could use markers, color pencils, whatever you have. You want to use paint? That's fine with me. So this is going to be a way for you to see, like, you can absorb information differently because you can hear it as you're like coloring. And it's a very therapeutic way to take in information. And maybe in other capacities, you might have been distracted. You might not have been able to focus. So this is a really great, kind of like a meditation, but it's a way to tap into like your younger self. Remember I said that you're not becoming someone different. What we're doing in this process is relearning who we really are. So as a kid, like, why not color outside the lines, blend the colors, create doodles. If you want to doodle throughout all of it, like, I don't care. This would be your coloring book. And if you're joining me in the studio, I have this cool little like a folder that you'll have the coloring book, and then also some pockets. So if you have any other material, there'll be some note paper and things like that. You want to make other notes and you want to, use the pockets for that, then this is going to be yours as a takeaway. So you can keep this, what you learn from the event, you can reference and look through that material anytime you want a little refresher and a little Dana Lee in your day. So I'd really, really love for you to be there. This is going to be such a fun time and truly a bonding experience and a life-changing experience. I promise you that. So registration is, you can reserve your spot. Registration's open until it's booked. Once it's booked, then, it's first come, first serve. So right now I only have 2 events on the calendar. I could end up adding. We'll see. If I do end up adding, I'll use that same registration page. Okay. So Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. And I am out to solve and help women heal from these food addictions and food issues and body image issues. And I would really love for you, if this is at all calling, for you to step up and do this next phase for yourself, please do it. I promise you. Again, I'm just going to reinforce, if there's any part that's kind of afraid to change as much as you want to change, nothing's going to be revealed unless you're ready. Okay, so it's really on your terms. And if you're in a really safe environment and I can help facilitate that, that's going to be part of where you can find your own trust again to move forward. All right, fantastic. Thanks so much for tuning in for today's topic. This is actually a pre-recorded video because I'm out enjoying a coffee and a meetup with a friend. So anyhow, I will get to your comments. If you were commenting or asking any questions, I will get to that once I'm able to get my eyeballs back on this video. Thank you so much. You can always send me a personal DM, by the way, or an email, info@realfit.tv. Okay, I will see you on the next one, and I definitely hope to see your name come through registration. All right. Mwah.